Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of the main news. My name is Joyce Mabika. Noble Maungwa is on sign language.
I'm Justin Matlatla. Doran Ngube will join us later on from our Montrose studios. These are our headlines tonight.
ZANU-PF President and First Secretary Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa calls for solidarity among liberation movements.
In other news, government satisfied with the implementation of several infrastructure projects ahead of the SADC summit.
In business, a government puts in place measures to raise funds for developmental projects. And in sport, Zimbabwe kick off Cosafa Cup campaign with a 1-0 victory over Comoros. We now give you these and more stories in detail. ZANU-PF President and First Secretary Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa has challenged the liberation movements to close ranks amid growing threats from former colonial masters. He was addressing the 123rd ZANU-PF Central Committee meeting at the party headquarters in Harare this Thursday.
The 123rd ZANU-PF Central Committee meeting comes at the time when the country is boasting of the Second Republic that has introduced a national currency, the ZiG, that is gaining traction, said the President and First Secretary of the ruling party, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Notable among these is the stabilization of our macroeconomic environment anchored on our own domestic gold-based ZiG currency. As a united, peaceful, visionary, resilient, and hard-working people, we have every reason to be proud of ourselves. Let us continue to believe in ourselves and to be confident in what we can do.
On a solemn note, the Central Committee observed a minute of silence to the dear departed veterans of the liberation struggle who have passed on since the last Central Committee meeting. The President urged the party members that they cannot afford to be preoccupied with the filling executive positions with no base. More and more young people should be mobilized to join the ruling party, said the party's president.
Those who want to buy their way into ZANU-PF and manipulate the ongoing structuring and mobilization programs must be exposed. Our party, ZANU-PF, will not hesitate to invoke Article 37, Section 549 of our Constitution for those who exhibit indiscipline and a brute ambition.
Former colonial powers are on the prowl to reverse the gains of the liberation movement, warned the president.
I call upon the Central Committee, yourselves, and the party at large to be aware of the realities and onslaughts affecting former liberation movements and the African region as a whole. The revolutionary parties, in particular in Southern Africa, are under attack. We are under attack. This calls for greater solidarity and exchanges amongst former liberation movements, as well as the like-minded global South and East organizations.
Still on the same vein, local Asian provocateurs were up to anti-Zimbabwe antics, especially ahead of major conferences. Stand warned, said the First Secretary of ZANU-PF.
I'm aware of certain rogue elements within the nation who are bent on peddling falsehoods and instigating acts of civil disorder, especially before, possibly during and after regional and world stage events which are going to be held in this country. The ZANU-PF-led government will not tolerate any form of destabilization in our country. vanyangira yabona.
On the economic front, the President and First Secretary of ZANU-PF spoke about the economic enablers in place, the agriculture development, especially the wheat planting, made so far, the opening of the Dinson Iron and Steel plant in Manize, and all other sectors of the economy that are being revamped, to mention but a few. The SADC summit penciled for this coming August is yet another shop window for Zimbabwe to showcase her industrial ingenuity. Comrade Mnangagwa said his visits abroad and in the region have seen Zimbabwe's engagement and re-engagement exercise, strengthening synergies and collaborations and partnerships towards the growth and development of the Zimbabwean economy. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, Harare.
ZANU-PF says Vision 2030 is attainable under the able leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa and unity of purpose within the party and government.
ZANU-PF provincial chairpersons met in Harare this Thursday on the sidelines of the ruling party Central Committee meeting. Mashonaland West chairperson Comrade Mary Muliswa then briefed ZBC News on the meeting while praising President Mnangagwa for steering development.
I just want to acknowledge and thank His Excellency for the issue of the drought relief. Kuti vapana achafa nenzara saka toda kuvatenda program iyoyo iri kufamba zvakanaka tichitenda zvakare nemadevolution projects ari kuitwa kubata nyaya dzemvura dziri kubatwa nyaya dzenutrition kubata nyaya yemaroads.
Social ills such as drug and substance abuse were also discussed.
Any type of indiscipline inenge ichiitika will not be tolerated at all. Musangano wedu weZANU-PF nyaya yema-drugs and substance abuse inyaya iri kubata nyika. Isusu semusangano weZANU-PF tikutaura kuti we will take an active role and we are saying no to drugs and substance abuse.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa launched the Zimbabwe Multi-Sectoral Drug and Substance Abuse Plan this Wednesday, which will guide government's response to the scourge that is now a national security and economic threat. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Several infrastructure projects being undertaken by government in preparation for the upcoming SADC Heads of State and Government Summit in August are expected to be completed within the agreed timelines. Our reporter, Owen Mandova, has more.
This Thursday, Transport and Infrastructural Development Minister Honorable Felix Mona led the ministerial delegation to check progress on the implementation of projects ahead of the SADC summit to be hosted by Harare in August. The tour started with the assessment of the first ever international military facility in the country, the Zimbabwe Defense Forces Military Hospital at the Manyame Air Base, which is nearing completion.
The first ever military hospital. So research other new diseases. We'll be working with other hospitals, with other universities like UZ. Also our own ZNDU hospital. So it really means Zimbabwe now can provide all the services now locally. We are 85% on average in terms of just the infrastructure, the structure itself. The furnishings, the equipment for the hospital, we are hoping that once the payment is done, we'll be able to finish. Come the 30th of July, everything will be ready to host any patients to the hospital.
Next was the VVIP pavilion at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport to receive important guests such as heads of states coming for the summit. At the Rainbow Towers Hotel and Conference Center, massive renovations of the facility which will host the key SADC events are ongoing, with Tourism and Hospitality Industry Minister Honorable Barbara Rodzi expecting the SADC summit to bring a positive spotlight on the country's hospitality industry.
Particularly
particularly where we are right now in the conference center of HICC. As you all know, it's one of the biggest facilities in the SADC, and these refurbishments will make it much more better and much more known during SADC summit. And we are anchoring on marketing it more and talking about it a lot more.
The delegation also assessed the operations of the Museum of African Liberation and the Geopomona Waste-to-Energy project, two iconic projects under the Second Republic, which will be visited by the SADC heads of states on the sidelines of the summit.
We already prepared everything to showcase to them what we are doing here as Geopomona Waste Management.
Addressing the media after the tour, Minister Mona said the work ethic demonstrated in meeting SADC deadlines is unprecedented.
What I want to hasten again to commend the culture of our contractors, who are our own people, who have been empowered again by the Second Republic, which is something that I want to thank His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, where we've seen the capacity that our contractors have. They can actually compete within and across borders in terms of doing wonderful work.
Zimbabwe hosted the SADC summit in August, with President Emmerson Mnangagwa set to take over chairmanship of the regional bloc for the next 1 year. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
A funeral parade for the late national hero Brigadier General retired Romeo Daniel Mchunguma has been held at 32 Infantry Battalion in Rusape this Thursday.
A funeral parade has been held at 32 Infantry Battalion in Rusape in honor of the late national hero, Brigadier General retired Mchunguma, this Thursday afternoon. The Zimbabwe National Army Commander, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe, who was the chief mourner at the funeral parade, led the proceedings before addressing the parade.
Having served diligently and purposefully in the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, the late Brigadier General has left a legacy of excellency in the organization. He has been an icon and a prototype commander in the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. His exceptional loyalty and patriotism towards his beloved country, our only God-given motherland, reminds us how lucky we are as a nation to have a generation of officers and commanders of the caliber of the departed Brigadier General.
Lieutenant General Sanyatwe chronicled Brigadier General retired Mchunguma's history during the liberation struggle and after independence.
On 12 April 1978, the late Brigadier General then deployed to Pasichigare, Sanla High Command Base, as a trustee commander responsible for political instructions as an instructor. His responsibilities to the Zanula headquarters were to be answerable to His Excellency today, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for political reorientation of Zanla trained cadres.
Brigadier General Daniel Mchunguma died on the 19th of June at Tariro Medical Center in Rusape and will be buried at the National Heroes Acre in Harare on Monday. He is survived by 8 children and wife Miriam Mchunguma. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Rusape.
Stakeholders have endorsed the newly launched Zimbabwe National Multi-Sectoral Drug and Substance Abuse Plan, saying the strategy will significantly enhance efforts to combat the social ill.
The plan's comprehensive approach has garnered widespread support with stakeholders from various sectors, recognizing its potential to make a meaningful impact in addressing the drug and substance abuse menace.
This plan is decisive in the sense that it's a multi-stakeholder approach, which entails that the Zimbabwe Republic Police will not be working alone. As we enforce the law. As we enforce this plan, the Zimbabwe Public Police will be working together with the other relevant stakeholders in terms of effecting arrest, in terms of conducting awareness campaigns, and also ensuring that the issue of rehabilitation takes center stage.
A lot of people who abuse substances do not have a drug use problem. They have a drug use solution. The solution needs to come from something that is not drugs, that is not alcohol. Once we educate our young people to cope differently and to cope better using healthy mechanisms, they will be able to overcome the urge to take drugs and alcohol.
This is no longer an individual problem. It is now affecting even from the community, root up to the corporates. So we really need this plan.
Zvinongogadzirika tese kana taisa all hands on the deck. Anditika asi zvatinoitawo isusu senharaunda kunatsurudza zvinhu zvakaipa. Ndandichinzwa chinzi kana munhu adhakwa zviya anonzi anostika. Kustika kuita sei? Kunonzi munhu anozingaira. Tikazviisa kururimi rwedu chaizvo zvineka kutuka, zvineka kutsura, zvineka kuti hokoyo.
The plan is premised on 7 critical pillars, including supply reduction, demand reduction, community reintegration, policy and legal enforcement, media and communication, resource mobilization, and economic strengthening. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
In a related development, the government has identified a defunct TB treatment facility in Gwanda, which will be converted into a drug and substance abuse rehabilitation center.
With Matabeleland South Province being home to 5 official borders, it is regarded as a hotspot for drug and substance abuse. Reliance on Inguchen Psychiatric Hospital in Bulawayo has been problematic for the people of Matabeleland South Province due to the high demand for the facility. As such, the Ministry of Health and Child Care, in collaboration with Social Welfare, has identified the defunct TB clinic in Jaunda, Gwanda, to be used for rehabilitation of survivors of drug and substance abuse.
When we receive some of these dire cases of drug and substance abuse, we cannot house them here, as we can only put them in our general wards. And once we do that, they become a risk to other patients.
Chairpersons of the Joint Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training and Thematic Committee on Sustainable Development Goals were in Gwanda this Wednesday on a fact-finding mission on drug and substance rehabilitation centers, said the center will go a long way in helping victims.
We actually want to realize the youths who are at the facility that we came to, how they are being helped, the rate at which they are coming, the direct impact which is happening at people who are actually taking into the institution.
We are more vulnerable than anyone else in the country. Whatever sophisticated drugs we get in towns and other places in the country are entering through Matabeleland South. And more so, Matabeleland South is a predominantly mining town, where makorokosas and other plays are very rampant. And these makorokosas thrive on using drugs for them to get more energy, to work hard and thrive for a living.
Government is on a massive drive to fight drug and substance abuse among young people. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
Zimbabwe and Venezuela are looking at deepening cooperation to fight the illegal sanctions imposed on the two countries by the West to spur economic growth.
The 3-day inaugural Zimbabwe-Venezuela Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation in Caracas has seen a Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister, Ambassador Frederick Shava, engaging Venezuelan Minister of Productive Agriculture, Honorable Wilma Sodedo, on the sidelines of the JPCC. The two shared on ways the two countries are harnessing to bust the illegal sanctions imposed on them by the West.
The impact of the sanctions on our peoples, this perverse political action that the world power elites have applied, forced our peoples and governments to develop the highest creative capabilities.
Zimbabwe's Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister, Ambassador Frederick Shava, concurred with the Venezuelan Agriculture Minister, on the importance of enhancing local production to reduce reliance on imports.
Make sure that the supermarkets in Venezuela are stocked again with products from agriculture produced by Venezuelan people, and right now they are over 85% full of Venezuelan products, just like Zimbabwe, where we are now over 85% in our supermarkets.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa is on record saying that nations subjected to external conditionalities must find homegrown solutions, as espoused by the mantra Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, ilizwe lakiwa ngabani bazi valo. Olin Ndori, ZBC News.
Vulnerable communities in Masvingo province are the latest to benefit from the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's philanthropic works of providing warmth and comfort to those in need during the winter season.
In a quest to ensure that the needs are cushioned from the cold weather during the winter season, First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who is also patron of the Angel of Hope Foundation, handed over blankets, winter jackets and groceries to vulnerable members of the community drawn from all districts of Masvingo province this Tuesday. Thousands of people from 7 districts in Masvingo province, which include Mwenezi, Chivi, Masvingo, Bikita, Nyika, Zaka and Gutu, thronged Nyuni Secondary School in Chingwizi, Mwenezi district, where they benefited from the First Lady's benevolence. It was all joy as the elderly, orphans, persons with disabilities and child-headed families received blankets and an assortment of groceries comprising maize meal, sugar, rice, cooking oil, salt and flour from Amai Mnangagwa. Also to benefit from Dr. Mnangagwa's philanthropic act are pregnant women who were surprised with baby preparation kits. A hands-on person, the mother of the nation personally distributed the items to all beneficiaries. Amai also donated books to students and sanitary pads to all girls. Delivering a keynote address, Amai Mnangagwa drew attention to the negative effects of drug abuse, highlighting that it is everyone's responsibility to combat the scourge. She also took a swipe on those peddling drugs, urging the public to report such cases for perpetrators to face the law.
Vakomana navasikana baba vari kudhakwa zvinotyisa, amai vakudzidzawo kusvuta, amai vobva vazoziva kuti kana vabika chakati woisawo zvinodhaka mazviri, zvimwe zvichitengeswa kuzvikoro, zvimwe zvichitengeswa mumaraini imomo. Ko tadirei kuti tibatane nerimwe basa ranga risipo paurongwa nepakukura kwedu nepamagariro. Tapireiko vakomana vanotichengetedza ava kuti vachitarisa zvimwe izvozvo kunze kwokuti vachengete nyika naye. Ndokubva tati vari kubika izvozvo nevanotengesa, hatichivataurai vasungwe vanorongedzwa kwavanofanira kunorongedzwa vanhu ivavo, vatiurayira raramo, vatiurayira development yemunyika medu, nokuti mwana haachagona kana kuchengeta pamba, haachaziva kana kuti mbudzi pane mbudzi ngani pamusha. Obata mbudzi dzachinotengesa, ndiro yaanodyira ari kunotengesa, chipfeko chaamai ari kuba chinotengesa. Hatidzokerei paunhu hwedu semagariro edu netsika yedu yemunyika yekwedu.
Dr. Mnangagwa also highlighted the importance of family.
Tinoda vana vanokura vachiziva kuti kuna vabereki, kune vatinofanirwa kuteerera, vakwegura vedu ndivo vane mazano kava, vabereki vedu madzimbuya nasekuru ndizvoka hongu. Saka nokudaro tinoda kubatsirana kuchengeta dzimhuri. Kuchengeta mhuri hakusi kuchengeta mhuri yako chete, nedzevamwe hatidzidzei kuchengeta pamwe chete. Ivo vana chengetekai, vana muchitsurika kamuchiteerera, muchiteedzera gwara rakanaka ramunoudzwa nevakuru vedu.
During an interactive session, Amai Mnangagwa sought to know who is the tower of the family between the husband and the wife. The question drew interesting responses from the audience.
Musa ndewani baba na amai ndiani ko mukuru mumba baba na amai
baba kana vakangofigwa namai rovira vava kumagirosa vachimwa mabhotoro vachitora vana marwei asi mai chavawana vanodlana vana vavo.
Mukadzi mubatsiri wemurume aripo pakuita basa rose.
The mother of the nation also rallied everyone to embrace the country's ZiG currency, which aims to stabilize the country's economy and ensure the wealth of Zimbabwe benefits its people. Chaplain Christine Piri from the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services implored everyone to follow in Amai's footsteps to help the needy. She also rallied widows to work hard for their families.
Dzidzisa kuti mubereki anochengetwa. Vana vari kusiiwa navabereki. Amai vari kuti ibasa rako neni rekuonawo vana ivavo kuti vachengetedzwa. Amai vari kuti nherera ngadziende kuchikoro.
Masvingo Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Ezra Chadzamira, expressed gratitude to the First Lady for her dedication and commitment.
Excellency, province yeMasvingo inopa kutenda kukuru nemabasa amunobata munyika muno nemuprovince medu. Muprovince muno makatiitira zvinhu zvakawanda zvinopfurikidza nebudiriro iri kuitwa nemutungamiriri wenyika yedu Baba vaMnangagwa, imwe muchivasapota.
Beneficiaries could not hide their jubilation.
Tinotenda mai vatipa machira munguva ino yechando chachakaomarara stereki. Isu shirikadzi.
Tinotendawo nezvaitwa namai Munangarwa, vakwanisawo tipa grocery, machira nezvimwe zvogona kutibatsirikawo pamwaka wechando uno.
Arts outfit IASA highlighted the importance of taking care of the needy, especially during this winter season, through a play.
Winter is upon us. Share a blanket. Share warm clothing. Save a soul.
As she continues to instill the spirit of reaching out to those in need, particularly the elderly, Dr. Mnangagwa has embarked on a countrywide program to provide essential winter wear to vulnerable communities to cushion them from the cold weather. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Chingwizi.
These and more stories are also available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw.
You can also check our social media handles on X, Facebook, we are at ZBC News Online. And remember to subscribe to our WhatsApp and YouTube channels. We are at ZBC News Online. And here are stories still to come.
In business news, the government puts in place measures to raise funds for developmental projects.
And in sport, Zimbabwe kick off Cosafa Cup campaign with a 1-0 victory over Comoros. We return with these and more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Why is pizza in Zimbabwe's favorite? Must be the pizza.
Must be the perfectly kneaded dough.
The thick and rich pizza sauce.
Must even be the fresh and delicious toppings.
The soft and tasty mozzarella cheese.
All oven baked to make the perfect combination of mouth-watering pizza.
But it doesn't end there. At Pizza Inn, we're big on more. More pizzas, more extras, and more sharing.
With our delicious range of crowd-pleasing favorites, you'll have plenty to share with him or them and even those guys. Share the fun with Zimbabwe's favorite.
Pizza Inn. Must be the pizza. This is the currency we've been waiting for. A currency that's not just paper and coins, but a symbol of Zimbabwe's rich resources and stability.
That's Zimbabwe Gold. This is ZIG. Let's dive into what makes ZIG not just a new currency, but a new beginning for Zimbabwe's economy. ZIG is born out of a blend of traditional and innovative financial wisdom, anchored in gold and precious metals, along with foreign currency reserves. This backing isn't just for show, it's a promise of stability and trust, ensuring that ZIG's value is as solid as the gold it's pegged to. From the bustling markets of Harare to the serene landscapes of rural Zimbabwe, ZIG is set to become the medium of exchange that's both reliable and accessible, with denominations ranging from ZIG 200 to ZIG 1 and even handy coins. It caters to every transaction, big or small. Transitioning to ZIG is a breeze. It's all about inclusivity, ensuring no one is left behind in Zimbabwe's financial renaissance. ZIG doesn't walk alone. It co-circulates with other foreign currencies under Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, enriching our financial landscape. It's a legal tender that not only simplifies transactions, but also restores confidence in our economy, promising a future where stability and growth go hand in hand. So why ZIG? Because it's more than just money. It's a symbol of Zimbabwe's resilience, a step towards an economy where stability is the norm, and every Zimbabwean can look forward to a prosperous future. Welcome to the era of Zimbabwe Gold, where our currency is our pride.
Trust Academy, an associate of Chinua University of Technology, is enrolling for Johnny Intake 2024. You join with 5 O-levels and choose from customer service, transport and logistics, tourism and hospitality, events management, data analytics, monitoring and evaluation, cybersecurity, procurement and supply chain, and project management. We offer both online and face-to-face interactive learning. Upon completion of these diplomas, you can pursue a degree with Chinua University of Technology. For more information, contact us on our WhatsApp number 0775 690 007. Visit our campuses at number 52 4th Street between 3rd and 4th Avenue in Bulawayo. And in Harare, we are at number 14 Livingstone Avenue. Visit our website www.trustacademy.ac.zw. Trust Academy, a training for excellence.
That's it. The regular football season is over.
What?
Yes, it's over.
Oh no!
But not for us here at Supersport. We've got a big deal coming your way.
Sorry, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Catch all 51 games of Euro 2024. Stay connected to DSTV to watch all the action on Supersport.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation is seeking a visionary leader to shape our future. Are you a commercially astute CEO with a passion for innovation and transformation? Do you have a proven track record in business strategy and digital aptitude? If so, this is your opportunity to lead ZBC into a new era. We need a CEO who can drive growth, foster a customer-centric culture, and embrace emerging technologies. You will be responsible for upholding the highest standards of corporate governance and risk management. Scan the QR code or visit www.ipcconsultants.com/jobs/100547 to apply. Don't miss this chance to shape the future of ZBC. Apply now and be the driving force behind ZBC's success.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Zimbabwe's micro, small and medium enterprises sector has been commended for transforming the country's economic landscape through employment creation, accounting for more than 60% of national employment.
It emerged this Thursday that Zimbabwe's embracing of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (UNSDGs) through National Development Strategy 1 and DS1 has facilitated the growth of SMEs in the country and their contribution to economic growth.
Tikarongeka hurumende yedu inokwanisa kuti itibatsire nemaresources uye tinokwanisa kuti tironge tiplane zvichitibatsira naizvozvo zvakare tinokwanisa kubvisawo matax takasununguka.
It has also been highlighted that micro, small and medium-sized enterprises account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 70% of employment and 50% of GDP worldwide.
Tirikuona kuti vechidiki vakubva mune zvinodhaka vachiuya kuzoita mabasa mazhinji amaoko atiri kuvakiretera through SMEs.
Small and Medium Enterprises Corporation of Zimbabwe, Mr. Rabson Wove, revealed that the adoption of value chains in all sectors of the economy have contributed to economic growth.
SMEs, most of them, they were running away from taxation and they were feeling that the taxation is not conducive or better. But however, we are trying to mitigate such where we engage the taxman.
Deputy Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable Kudam Nangagwa, reiterated government support to the SMEs.
We have to find ways to nurture them to become more sustainable, but at the same time they need to play their part and become part of the formal economy. Informalization might be good for a business owner in terms of not paying taxes, but it also inhibits your growth because you're unable to access the markets and the facilities that allow you to grow bigger.
The United Nations General Assembly designated June 27 as Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day to raise awareness on the contributions of MSMEs to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Tarema Duyu, ZBC News, Harare.
We now cross over to our Montrose studios where we join Dora Ngube, who will take us through the next couple of stories from that end. It's good evening, and it's over to you, Dora.
Thank you so much, Justin and Joyce. Good evening to you and a good evening to our viewers. We continue with the main news from our Montrose News Desk. Zimbabwe's cement producing firms are reaping the benefits of the government infrastructure development drive, riding on increased sales of the commodity.
Pretoria Portland Cement, PPC, which is among the leading producers of cement in the country, revealed in its annual report that it has been overwhelmed by the increase in demand for cement. The company's Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Matthias Cardarelli, highlighted that there has been a huge increase in revenues from the Zimbabwean production units. Economic experts contend that the growth in construction activities and real estate sector, including infrastructure projects, will further result in huge demand for cement as Zimbabwe maintains a positive economic trajectory.
The life quality index for any given economy is determined by how easily the citizens can access infrastructure, good infrastructure such as road, housing, internet connectivity. With good infrastructure, we can attract investment.
Analysts also attribute growth in the cement production value chains to increased economic activities.
The government is committed to infrastructure development under NDS1, and PPC being one of the key suppliers in the construction value chain or the infrastructure development value chain, has seen it manage to post these significant and impressive results.
Under the Second Republic, government has prioritized infrastructure development as a key driver of economic growth. Some of the flagship projects include the modernization of the Bay Bridge border post, rehabilitation of the Harare-Chirundu Highway, Kwaishangani Lake, Wanga Thermal Power Station expansion project, Kunzu Dam construction, Harare Bay Bridge Highway rehabilitation, Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport expansion, and construction of new schools and hospitals countrywide. Yolanda Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government has commissioned Dombe Bridge, which connects Shurugwi and Chirumanzi districts in the Midlands province. Our reporter Courage Bushe was in Shurugwi and files the following report.
For years, linking Dombwe area in Shirugwi district with Lalapanzi in Chirumanzu district was a nightmare for many, especially during the rainy season. The majority of transport operators were shunning the area, thereby cutting the two districts off from other parts of the country. However, these challenges are a thing of the past following the completion and commissioning of Dombwe Bridge by government.
Kunyango nevanhu vakwanisa kufamba nekuti nguva yemvura kana pakazara pasingaombukika kwatibatsira kuwanawo mabasa uyezve kudyidzana nzvimbo iri kunze kwebridge neimwe iri kunoku
kufambidzana kuti tindo kana kumagrosa uko kune zvikamu zvinoenderana nezvigayo zvanga zvichitotinetsa kumazuva akawanda.
Shurugwi North Legislator Honorable Joseph Mpasi indicated the importance of the bridge towards the development of the district.
Zvinhu zvatinangana kuti isu donho rino rakudobudirira nekuita kwaita mugwagwa iwoyo tichaona development yakakura zvikuru mudonho rino.
The government says the provision of key infrastructure is critical for the upliftment of people's lives.
The bridge expands the inventory of the Second Republic's ever-increasing road infrastructure projects designed to enrich inclusive development that stimulates rural industrialization.
Dombwe Bridge was constructed by the Rural Infrastructure Development Agency RIDA at a cost of $220,000 United States dollars. Karajushe, ZBC News, Shirugwi.
An agro-processing hub has been commissioned at Vimbanai Irrigation Scheme in Chipinge. The scheme is expected to benefit over 200 smallholder farmers, confirming the government's rural transformation and industrialization agenda is on course.
Bankrolled by government and its development partners, the Vimbanai Irrigation Scheme Agro-processing Hub is part of efforts meant to promote the chili pepper value chain while promoting agricultural productivity through market linkages. Beneficiaries of the project said their lives have changed for the better through chili pepper production.
Togona kuita mabhaketi kana 7 kana 8 woendisa mhiripiri yako wopinda wondodini wondotora mari kupera kwomwedzi inenge yavayo kubenki.
Kugadhiri kunoku chero ndikatengesa madomasi bhaya akasvika kunoku mari yangu tichitoibata ndotosvika kumba ndotengera mwana chikafu.
The agro-processing hub has the capacity to process 22 tons of chili pepper for the export market in America.
We consolidate with nearby irrigation schemes. For example, like here in Chipinge, we have got another small irrigation scheme, Zwarabuda, just 13 kilometers away from here. So if this one does 11 tons and that other one does 11 tons, we consolidate the two to make it 22 tons and we export to America.
Such projects are in line with the Second Republic's rural industrialization agenda, which entails nurturing agro-processing startup enterprises in rural communities.
Through our combined efforts, this project has empowered local communities by promoting agriculture, facilitating links to markets, and fostering economic opportunities.
Irrigation schemes are part of the government's grand plan to turn villages into green belts and underpin the Second Republic's policy of leaving no one and no place behind when it comes to development. Geima Tambo, ZBC News, Chipinge.
And that report taking us back to our Pocket Soul studios. Joyce and Justin, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Dora. Businessmen Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe, who are facing fraud charges involving more than $7 million United States dollars meant for the presidential gold pass-on scheme, will spend another night behind bars after the case was rolled over to Friday for continuation of bail application.
And Mpofu were arrested on Wednesday by officers from the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission on allegations of fraud involving $7 million United States dollars, which they allegedly received from Treasury to supply goods under the presidential gold pass-on scheme, but failed to deliver on the contract. The duo's bail application did not go ahead this Thursday owing to the non-availability of a key investigation officer in the matter who was attending another case at the High Court. The state is opposed to the granting of bail to the two, arguing that the accused persons are likely to interfere with investigations. It has since emerged that the duo allegedly forged a Zimbabwe Revenue Authority tax clearance certificate and a NASA compliance certificate in the name of a company called Black Deck and attached them to a bidding document which they submitted to the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Road Development for a tender to supply and deliver goats under the Presidential Goat Pass-On scheme. It is further alleged that through the misrepresentation, the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Road Development entered into a contract with the Black Deck Livestock and Poultry Farming in 2021 for the supply and delivery of more than 630,000 goats for the Presidential Goat Pass-On scheme, but the two failed to honor their promise. Chimombe and Mpofu will be back in court this Friday for further bail application. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The Pan-African Parliament has taken up the issue of food security as the continent grapples with the effects of climate change. We get that report from our news editor, Ian Shoma.
So much has been said about food security on the African continent, and so much has been done. But in all this, Southern Africa needs more after being ravaged by the El Nino-induced drought.
Kuno tiri kudzidza zvakanyanyisa pamusoro pe climate change ne food security tichisangana nevanobata vari mumapazi World Food Program. Zimbabwe ichawanawo chidimbu chinenge chiwanikwa kubva ku-World Food Program.
It is a position shared by colleagues from other African countries, including the PAP Committee on Rural Economy, Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources Rapporteur, Honorable Suleiman Saho of Gambia.
The committee is trying to come up with a model law that will be accepted or implemented by countries back home, because we all know the food is a necessity.
The government of Zimbabwe has since taken a proactive approach, distributing food in all parts of the country after President Emmerson Mnangagwa assured Zimbabweans that no one will starve. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's Honorable Elizabeth Masugu has drawn the PAP's attention to issues affecting women, such as economic sanctions, as the country pursues inclusive development.
Umama kumele sime sisekelane into esikhathaza kakhulu ikakhulu eZimbabwe sihlangana lohlupho lokubana lama sanctions eZimbabwe yiwo alimaza kakhulu.
When all has been said and done, what remains clear is that the Pan-African Parliament has indeed turned out to be the voice of the voiceless. Ian Zoma, ZBC News, Midrand.
On that note, we take a break. We'll be back with business. Stay tuned.
In today's fast-paced world, paying in Zig is not just about exchanging physical cash. It's about tapping into the electronic payment space, where convenience meets technology. On Zimbabwe's stable, safe, sound, and efficient national payment system, experience seamless transactions at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join the future of payments today with Zig. Secure, reliable, effortless. Pay the smart way. Pay with Zig.
Why is pizza in Zimbabwe's favorite? Must be the pizza.
Must be the perfectly kneaded dough.
The thick and rich pizza sauce.
Must even be the fresh and delicious toppings.
The soft and tasty mozzarella cheese.
All oven baked to make the perfect combination of mouth-watering pizza.
But it doesn't end there. At Pizza Inn, we're big on more. More pizzas, more extras, and more sharing.
With our delicious range of crowd-pleasing favorites, you'll have plenty to share with him or them and even those guys. Share the fun with Zimbabwe's favorite.
Pizza Inn. Must be the pizza.
Life is beautiful. Soft care. So fit, so right.
Zimbabwe's mining legacy is a story etched deep in our soil. It's a tale of hard work, resilience, and human ingenuity in unearthing riches and building a nation. This commitment to progress continues as mining industry players continue to unlock the vast potential of our mineral reserves, driving economic transformation through innovation, mineral beneficiation, and value addition. Are you ready to be part of the next chapter? Explore cutting-edge advancements and discover endless opportunities in Zimbabwe's expanding mining value chains at the 27th edition of Mine Entra, taking place from July 17 to 19, 2024 at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center in Ulayo. Register via our website www.zitf.co.zw. Mine Entra 2024, unearthing success, the mining value chains, innovation and industrialization nexus.
Give every morning the smart start it deserves with your favorite homegrown breakfast cereal. Nestle Ceravita. Fortified with Grain Smart, a smart combination of ions, vitamins and minerals. Your family gets all the energy they need to make the most of every day. That's why every morning deserves a smart start. Nestle Ceravita. Highly nutritious, simply delicious.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation is seeking a visionary leader to shape our future. Are you a commercially astute CEO with a passion for innovation and transformation? Do you have a proven track record in business strategy and digital aptitude? If so, this is your opportunity to lead ZBC into a new era. We need a CEO who can drive growth, foster a customer-centric culture, and embrace emerging technologies. You will be responsible for upholding the highest standards of corporate governance and risk management. Scan the QR code or visit www.ipcconsultants.com/jobs/100547 to apply. Don't miss this chance to shape the future of ZBC. Apply now and be the driving force behind ZBC's success.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Zimbabwe's domestic resource mobilization agenda is on track as authorities roll out more measures to remove revenue leakages.
It emerged during the 7th Zimbabwe Revenue Authority ZIMRA annual general meeting that the past 5 years have seen a government rolling out development projects aimed at stimulating socio-economic growth. The move has resulted in the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority being tasked by fiscal authorities with a mandate of raising more money locally as the external debt overhang is stifling efforts to borrow from foreign creditors. The Revenue Authority has therefore outlined measures being implemented to help government in achieving development goals by raising more funds from domestic resources.
We are looking at sector-based approach where we look at the sectors that are contributing and ensuring that they contribute taxes accordingly. And we are also looking at how best we can plug revenue leakages.
Treasury is confident revenue generation measures from the local resources will ease government borrowings, thereby consolidating current development gains.
Government position and government policy is to prioritize domestic resource mobilization. You'll find that being in the situation that Zimbabwe is, where we are on our own, having access to external lines of credit being extremely difficult, we have to look within.
Some of the key components of a domestic resource mobilization include the pay-as-you-earn, custom duty, corporate tax, mining royalties, value-added tax, intermediated money transfer tax, among others. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business, we take you through the arts. The Dominican Convent School Junior School Choir will participate at the 13th edition of the prestigious World Choir Games in New Zealand next month.
The World Choir Games, to be held in Auckland, New Zealand in July, will bring together talented choirs from across the globe. The choir members are excited about the opportunity and hope to return home with a medal.
We are very excited to represent Zimbabwe at the World Choir Games, and we really hope that we at least get a medal.
We are very excited and we're hoping that we're going to win like first place for everything.
Dominican Convent Junior School Choir Director Mr. Byron Manake says the school choir will showcase its musical prowess on the international stage.
We are very excited that we are finally going this time, because we wanted to go when there was the 11th edition in Belgium. That was 2020. But as you all know, that COVID came and we had to postpone, we had to cancel the whole trip. But now we are now ready. I think this is just a huge opportunity for the whole country.
The World Choir Games will be held from the 10th to the 20th of July in Auckland, New Zealand. Farai Gwaze, ZBC News, Harare.
From the arts to sport, but first we take a break.
Zimbabwe, where the sun kisses the earth, lies a world of endless opportunity.
Here, amidst the vibrant colors and lively exchanges, the spirit of abundance live. Allow yourself the opportunity to connect and innovate. See the future of your business at the 114th edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show.
Filled with ideas, new and radical, that are cultivating prosperity, growing business, innovating for change, and nurturing our future. From agriculture to agribusiness, and from agricultural education to agri-tourism, every sector finds a place to flourish here, where companies unveil their latest innovations and network with current and potential markets. ZAS 2024, where the future of all business sectors is being written today.
In the interest of the public, the government of Zimbabwe wishes to advise the nation of measures being put in place to enhance the administration and management of urban state land. The Ministry of Local Government and Public Works is mandated to administer on behalf of His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, urban state land, itself a finite heritage resource that is central to the National Development Thrust as espoused in the National Development Strategy 1 and Vision 2030. It is therefore imperative that an efficient and transparent system is put in place to ensure that urban state land plays a role in facilitating sustainable and functional development. The ministry therefore wishes to announce the imposition with immediate effect of a moratorium on allocation of urban state land until further notice. This is to allow the ministry to finalize the ongoing process of reviewing and strengthening existing policy framework and guidelines on the administration and management of urban state land. Stakeholders and the general public are urged to be patient while the ministry concludes this process.
That's it. The regular football season is over.
What?
Yes, it's over.
Oh no.
But not for us here at Supersport. We've got a big deal coming your way.
Sorry, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Catch all 51 games of Euro 2024. Stay connected to DSTV to watch all the action on Supersport.
Why is pizza in Zimbabwe's favorite? Must be the pizza.
Must be the perfectly kneaded dough.
The thick and rich pizza sauce.
Must even be the fresh and delicious toppings.
The soft and tasty mozzarella cheese.
All oven baked to make the perfect combination of mouth-watering pizza.
But it doesn't end there. At Pizza Inn, we're big on more. More pizzas, more extras, and more sharing.
With our delicious range of crowd-pleasing favorites, you'll have plenty to share with him or them and even those guys. Share the fun with Zimbabwe's favorite.
Pizza Inn. Must be the pizza.
Well, we kick off sport with the good news that Zimbabwe kicked off their 2024 Cosafa Cup with a 1-0 victory over Comoros at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium in Port Elizabeth, South Africa this Thursday.
The Warriors signaled their return to the regional tournament joining a sub-standard kit that did not even have a national flag on it. In fact, the kit looked more like the one used to be worn by Northern Region Division 1 side Golden Eagles 2 seasons ago. The Warriors kit also disappointed the fans who took to social media to vent their frustrations. On the field of play, Zimbabwe did not really shine, but were never troubled by Minos Comoros, who are yet to stamp their authority in the region. Manica Diamonds forward Michael Tapera secured victory for Zimbabwe after poking home a good crosser from Farai Banda in the 53rd minute.
The crossing ability now. Man plays and the ball into the near post. Oh, the lovely chance. Beautifully brought home then by Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe created more chances but were not able to convert. Winger Tino Tendamaker was one of the bright sparks in the game, while the combination of Wanum Tuds and Donald Mdad in central midfield showed signs of life. The defense marshaled by Captain Godnos Murura was solid to give Zimbabwe 3 points in the first Group B match. The Warriors played their second match on Sunday when the Jet defending record champions Zambia in the Battle of the Zambezi. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Back home, Premier Soccer League debutants Arno Movers are seeking a change of fortunes in their away tie to fellow new boys Chegutu Pirates set for Baobab Stadium on Sunday.
Fireworks are expected on Sunday as struggling new boys Chegutu Pirates date fellow debutants Arno Movers, who are hungry for success after managing just 1 win in 16 matches. The encounter promises to be a cracker as the two sides are separated by 2 points on the ladder and face the prospect of an early return to the lower league. Ironically, the Sweet Boys recorded their only win from fellow debutants Bikita Minerals, a feat that gives them hope as they go to Mondoro.
We must not panic. Yes, we are second from bottom on the log. But I think we are not far away from the rest of the teams. So if we don't panic, we don't press the panic button, I think we can come good.
The Sweet Boys have roped in veteran coach Pilani Bifinube to assist the technical team to survive relegation. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Zimbabwe bagged 2 silver medals at the 2024 Africa Senior Athletics Championships, which ended in Douala, Cameroon, yesterday evening.
Zimbabwe improved from their past performance at the Senior African Championships after bagging 2 silver medals. At the previous edition held in Morocco, the country only managed 1 silver medal in the men's relay. A triple jumper Chengeta Mapaya bagged the first silver medal before Olympics bound Tapio Makarao repeated the feat in the 200-meter race. The steady improvement has delighted the coach who envisages a brighter future.
I'm very, very sure that we all can see the progress and the change in performance and quality of performance that Zimbabwean athletes are now displaying at these continental championships. We have greatly improved. We are in the right direction.
Ashley Kamangira narrowly missed the podium after finishing fourth in a event as the championships concluded. The team is expected back home this Friday. Lawrence Truseda, ZBC News, Harare.
And that report wrapping up sport. For now, we take a look at the weather report and forecast.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the weather report and forecast. On today's episode, strengthening of the cool, moist southeasterly airflow resulted in cloudy, cool and windy conditions over the southern parts of the country, and light rain and drizzle occurred in quite a number of places, which resulted in Chisengo recording a maximum of 19 millimeters, Chipinge 15, as well as Buffalo Range with 5 millimeters, while the rest of the country started off partly cloudy, becoming mostly cloudy. Now moving on to tomorrow's forecast, expect cloudy conditions, windy and cool over the southern and eastern parts of the country with light rain and drizzle in places, while the rest of the country should start off partly cloudy and cold, becoming mostly cloudy as the day progresses and cold towards the evening. Now for our temperatures in detail, Harare is forecast to have a maximum of 21 and a minimum of 9 degrees Celsius, Midlands Gweru 18 and a minimum of 8, Kwekwe 20 and 11, Kaduma 22 and a minimum of 8 degrees Celsius. Moving on, Masingwe maximum of 17 and 11 minimum, Lupane partly cloudy 26 and a minimum of 7 degrees Celsius, Marondera 15 and a minimum 7, Kwanda 19 and a minimum of 9 degrees Celsius. Moving on, Victoria Falls 23 maximum and a minimum of 9, Great Zimbabwe 17 and a minimum of 11, Matopos 19 and a 10, Chimanimani 16 and a 8 minimum. Now for outlook, I expect partly cloudy over the western and northern parts of the country, while the southern and eastern parts of the country should be mostly cloudy, cold in the morning, becoming mild in the afternoon, while the rest of the country should start off cold, becoming cool towards the afternoon, except for the areas in the Zambezi Valley, which should be cool in the morning, becoming mild towards the afternoon. That's all on weather news today. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Christine Swanda signing out.
Well, thank you, Christine, for that update. And that's it for the main news for this evening. From all of us here, it's good night.
Good night.